So the first thing I want to speak about that it's something very inspiring for me. It's energy and mainly, I would say recognition. There is this book that it's called "Still Like an Artist," and it's a very nice book. And basically, it kind of like covers principles that are out there. Like, there's nothing new under the sun. This is something that it comes from the Old Testament, so it's a very long time ago, and it has been going on and on. So basically, this is what they say: like there is nothing new, but then there is, particularly now with digital, they're so easy that you get comments from somewhere else, and then you take someone else's work and you take it as your own, um, or whatever, you are creating something and then someone doesn't necessarily shares that it came from you. And I know sometimes we're putting our digital footprint everywhere we can. Like there's a video and then we put the name. There are some times that we allow or we don't allow these videos to be downloaded. So as someone, let's imagine that you're in that place and you have, I don't know, now a lot of people is doing courses, right? So there's people that do stuff even, there are many, many programs now that there is not just even about those that made it, but also what is the road to getting somewhere to do it. And a lot of people can feel that. Even myself, I really wanted to do something about businesses in a way that, there are so many times that you find, and you're attracted to this, like, how do you make $10,000 in a day? How do you make $1,000 in a month? Whatever that is. And if you are making this, then come and join this training. And so many times you're not doing that, but you want to get to that level. And there's so much that it's left behind. I had joined many master classes. I had a company, and there's so much work that we can put out there, and there is so much that it's going behind the scenes that what no one tells you. Like no one tells you that's gonna be hard to get there. So with all that, there is a lot of times that we think, well, what if my idea gets stolen? What if I'm so amazing and so great and I have this thought. So why and what can I make so that it doesn't get stolen? So first, I would say that I wouldn't go all that into that next level, that it would build believing that nothing is really coming from you, but that we can be a channel. That if you want to investigate more on that, there's many, many famous people that have lived their life this way. And that way you don't kind of like cut your like you're the golden egg goose versus stealing a golden egg, right? And how do you get that? How do you make sure that you keep on having that? By appreciating what is coming through you, not from you. So that would be like a next level. But there's some other stuff. And at first, I'm going to share something that came from a poet. That it's a beautiful, beautiful poet. I think he's, I don't know, he's Latin somewhere, maybe Chilean or something like that. That he said, and I have a story as well. That he said because there was a singer that kind of like had this. He was more like a poet instead of a singer, and he said something like, until the people chant a song, it's not really a song. And when people sing it, no one knows who the author is. But even that, so you're kind of like in this dual position of, it's not going to be a song unless others sing it. But then when everyone is singing, so many times they forget who was the one that created it. And again, this is less possible this time, but imagine in the old days, right? Like it would go from one town to the other, and it end up not knowing where it came from. But then what it says was talking directly to our ego to say, well, if you're the author, you need to try that your song ends in the lips, in the mouths, in the voices of everyone, because whatever you're losing in glory, you're winning it in eternity. So it's a very beautiful, and if you know Spanish, I highly recommend. It's Facundo Cabral. I highly recommend that you look for this, because it just even the words that it's saying is so they're so beautiful, but then also it's very profound, because this is really the thing. It's whenever we are looking for recognition and whenever we're getting that, we're losing it in eternity. We're losing the energy of it. And it doesn't mean that it's good to be Of course it's good. I'm not saying it's not. And I'm not saying that you should not be protective, and that you should not, but there are moments to take care of those things, and there are moments to just be giving. And there's so much more that's going to come. This is from one point of view, from the point of view when you are the one that is creating, and to not get too attached when someone else is using that. Then there's the other part. And the other part is when you are, on the other hand, the one that it's telling about the story that someone else shared. You got to make sure you're going to get so much more from it. You're going to get so much energy, even if it's your words, even if those people's words are meant to be spread by your voice, by your but whatever that is. It doesn't, again, this is not necessarily that about the ego, but to know that you need to go to all lengths to be able to point down to who was the person that you hear that from, and to make that attribution. And the only reason why is because you're creating like what you have is, let's say that you have this blessing in one finite object, and the moment that you give attribution, then you can get the energy that it's not just in this object right now that you're sharing, but in all the process of making it. So, and I know that this can be many of the things that I will share are not necessarily, it's nowhere near science. This is not proven. This is not, I can guarantee you, this is nothing like that. This is more of a poetic way to better giving and to better sharing. Just think about it from a marketing perspective. If the person that you're sharing something from, it's someone that has X amount of million followers, by you mentioning them, you're going to come up, you're kind of like attaching yourself to their reputation, to their followers, to their, like it in the end, people can find out that it didn't come from you. Like, again, there's nothing new under the sun. So there's never going to be one that we are the ultimate source of anything. So when you are attaching yourself to that, you are expanding the potential of whatever you're trying to do. And the more pure that is, the better. But that again, that is in another way. Just even as a strategy, make sure that whenever that you're sharing, try to use it and try to share it for others, because there's so much that you can get just even in the physical stuff. But then there's so much more going on in the intangible that you're getting energy from by attributing. So there's always going to be different points of view. There is the point of view when you are the one that's creating them, and there's going to be the point of view when you are the one sharing about someone else. Now, you might say, because it's something I struggle with myself, well, what you're telling me is I will never win, because it's either I need to be okay with others using my stuff and not claiming my authorship. So they're not giving me, they're not boosting me, because it could also work the other way around. I'm not gonna pretend that's not the case. So many times, this is why we have affiliate marketing. So this is why we have influencer marketing, right? Like, do we have something that when then someone else use it and share it, then they turn viral, this, initial thing. This is what has happened with many, many people, many artists, right? They are using a brand that they just literally found anywhere, or why people send them stuff. And then the moment that they put them in the map, everyone wants it because someone else used it. So I'm not trying to scheme you into any of this. So you might, I got this question as well, like, then I'm never going to win. I'm not going to win. Like, if I'm not asking that they attribute to myself and they're presenting it as their own, but I'm the one that did it. And then on the other hand, whenever I am sharing something, I'm going to be sharing it as, people knowing that I'm not the one that did it, that someone else. So basically, you're telling me I will lose in both ends. And I would say the answer is not necessarily that you lose, that you don't waste time and don't waste energy into getting mad for someone not recognizing you, because you don't need that recognition in the end. Like, everything is going to come your way. And again, it doesn't mean that if you have something that's very important, intellectual property, you do the work. Don't do it before time. I've been there. It's not worth it. The time and energy that you're going to dedicate into making sure that everyone knows, and into paying and the branding it's going to take so long when what you need to be doing is creating. So again, if you do have the time, if you have the resources, if you can do it, that's amazing, go do it. But if it's going to be as an excuse to not be giving more, don't do it. Because the way that you're going to get more is by creating more, by giving more, by adding more. That's what's really going to resonate. And really what we don't get is that the fight, I was going to say the fight, but really the growth and the transformation is within us, is whatever is coming up specifically for me